All right, great. They saw the commercial.
That's right.
You guys,
Isn't that a great commercial?
We've had more people.
So cool.
We've had manufacturers contact us about that commercial. They like it so much.
Absolutely.
Just real quickly on this, before I hop off on it, just to make you guys aware, we do have the two main type of mixer tips that go with the guns, but also, and I don't have one of the small guns with me.
Yeah, but the difference is, very quickly, this is the old style tip, and if you can catch that, Dave, I don't know if we can do a close-up on that. This is the old style, and I say old style because they're switching over to this type of a tip, which is the new style. So I'm sure that most of you are aware of this, that the industry is changing very quickly. Very soon this will be the only tip that you're going to be able to get.
Not necessarily.
Well, okay. Oh, this one as well. This is for the 37 milliliter cartridge, or 50 milliliter cartridge. Correct. Okay, so we got these three tips. This one's going to be phased out. This is the new one, and this is for the 50 milliliter.
And these two here are essentially the same. If you look,
and they're 10-to-1 mixtures.
They're double ported on the bottom, and we also have this gun too.
That's correct.
So, and I realize I didn't bring it tonight, but we also have the 50 milliliter cartridge gun, and this is where the industry is going. What John told you is 100% accurate.
Okay.
Very quickly, we've talked a good amount in the past about hot melt guns.
Right.
You saw this one, and this is actually the one that we.
That's the one in the commercial.
This is the one that hurts. This is hot melt.
Absolutely.
This is what we drug through the streets of Jacksonville. You can see the tape where we had to fix the cord that snapped. It's a great gun. This is its equivalent in the quad track form, and this is the AE2. And these two are probably more of a competitor for each other, the Charger and the AE2. They both use a half-inch glue stick.
Yep.
So they're kind of competitors to each other, and we carry the glue.
But their glues are very different.
They are.
And we only carry just two types of glue, but there are probably 30 different glues available from either 3M or different manufacturers to do different projects. So that's one thing that you have to pay attention is the type of glue you're using for the job that you have. These happen to be for solid surface because that's our main.
But they'll work equally well with wood and all that.
Exactly. So and the templating material that we sell, they work with that. But if you're doing like craft glues, things like that, they're available in clear and things like that. So just make sure that when you're ordering glue from us or anybody, that you purchase the right glue. Ask what it's
you want.
Exactly, because not all hot melts are the same.
It's funny you should say that, because last week we had a customer who ordered a case of glue from us, and he was very upset and said he got the wrong thing. He wanted another type of glue. Right. We happened to stock one. He wasn't clear what he wanted, and apologize that happened, but you got to be clear about what kind of glue you're looking for. So that's kind of the hot melt thing. And then real quickly, just so you know, we have these wonderful bottles here, typically for wood glues, but also they work great for alcohol, other solvents
like daiquiris and things. Or
you could, if you certainly wanted. These are available for delivery before New Year's Eve. If you could call an order tomorrow,
you could put a little rubber hose on here and keep this in your pocket, and then just give it a squirt every.
Somebody might wonder what you were up to. What kind of tape is this, John?
This is. It looks like packing tape. But I don't think it is. I think this is V-groove tape.
Well, what do you do with V-groove tape?
I don't know. What do you do with V-groove tape?
No, I don't even know what a V-groove is.
Actually, V-groovers are a machine that cuts a V-groove in your material that allows
what kind of material?
Well, either in solid surface for one, mostly particle boards, MDFs with a laminate surface, melamine surface. A lot of your speaker boxes and things are all, there's a perfect miter in there, and people look at that and go, oh, look at all the work that went into this. And actually a machine does that automatically. And what they do is they put this on the joint, and it's a heavy tape, and then they fold the V and glue it, and then they pull this off when it's dry. So this is not a packing tape, but this is a very specialized tape. You had didn't you have a metal tape here that I saw, or did we not bring that?
We didn't bring it. I forgot. I left it on my desk.
Okay.
But here's something really cool that you know more about than I do.
Headliner adhesive.
There you go.
Loctite. We sell this primarily for gluing the red circles down onto the circ hair.
the little cloth, the J-pad, the little.
Things, yeah. So if your pad pulls off, the Velcro part of your pad pulls off, you can glue it back on with headliner adhesive. It's very strong. It's made by Loctite, kind of a neat product. And then.
But this will actually work on bonding any sort of a cloth to.
Yes, it will.
So I mean, if you really think about it, this will do almost anything you can think of. If you're bonding cloth to something.
Right.
So if you've got somebody you really dislike, you could spray this in something and. Anyway. Okay, moving along. How about this though? Another great product.
Spray 90, great product. This is an expensive product to use for in the shop. Obviously, anybody doing contact cementing or anything wouldn't use a product like this. But in the field, it's wonderful. It has a wide spray tip on it, so you can spray contact cement. You can use it for a multitude of things, fabrics as well. I was working on my future son-in-law. By the way, my daughter's getting married in June.
Well, congratulations. That's one less bill.
Well, yeah, you know.
One big one before it set sail, but.
I was helping my son-in-law. He was putting speakers into the trunk of his car to do that bass thing, you know, that everybody does, you know, the boom, boom, boom. Anyway, he wanted it all to look built in. So we took insulation board from the hardware store. We cut it all out with a razor knife. We sprayed it and put gray carpeting on it and fit that right in the back, and it looked perfect. And we used this product to do that. It was really kind of neat.
Excellent. And here is something that everybody needs to be aware of because everybody uses it.
Color Seal.
Yeah, Color Seal. This is caulk. That didn't go very well. Okay, this is Color Seal.
Obviously.
This is a colored caulk.
And is this a solid color caulk?
This is, yes. This is a solid colored caulk.
And it's not transparent. It's
no,
just like,
it is opaque.
Like opaque caulk.
It is opaque, but you can get this in several different shades, which allows you to match what it is you're working on, whether it's laminate, solid surface, maybe a bathroom or a shower application where you've got a caulk in maybe some tile work or a tub. You can buy this to actually match, color match, so you're not stuck using the gray, the white, the bone that they have at the hardware center.
Right.
You can actually, if you know what the colors you're trying to match, this is the product to use. And as you can see, unlike most caulks, this is totally resealable. So this
does that really work?
Yeah, they actually work really good. Because I'll tell you what,
I'll tell you, a can of silicone and have it good 6 months later.
Well, it does have
3
a
months
shelf life.
later.
It does have a shelf life.
Okay.
But the nice thing about this is it's got this tip that pulls off. The thing is you can unscrew it. This port is always the same.
Right.
Most caulk tubes, you're cutting it wider to get it blown out. This is no problem.
Right. And you know, that's one of the things that you taught me when we were doing caulking is the smaller the bead, the better. So many guys just hack off the end of it and just run a whole bead down and it goes all over the place. But if you just use a very little amount, a lot of guys will put denatured alcohol on their fingertip when they're doing silicone. You dip it in a little thimble of denatured and wipe it right along there, and you can wipe it right off clean.
I'll tell you,
a lot of neat ways to do it.
Another way to do that too that I've done in the past that's really good is a product like Simple Green, an ammonia-based product.
Oh, okay.
Instead of, never use a dark one. You don't want to use like Windex. That would be a problem. You want something clear, or maybe like Simple Green
that's where you
next to yellow.
spray it on. Yes. Okay. Right.
You put your bead of caulk on.
Right.
Then you spray it on, and then when you wipe your finger down, the caulk doesn't stick where the spray is.
Right.
It comes right off.
Yep.
And you can lay down a bead of caulk that people will be amazed how in the world you did it so well.
Right.
But that's just a little trade secret. This one right here, I don't want to open up, and I kind of apologize, but I don't want to just waste it. But this is, and I don't know if there's any way they can see through the neck of the bottle.
No.
But this is actually a particulated caulk. This caulk has all kinds of flecking in it, particle in it, so you can get it if you had a brown or a rose or a blue or a green or whatever. This actually has the particle suspended in the caulk itself, so you could actually put a caulk line. If you had particulated, solid surface is what comes to mind first, but if you had particulated goods, what it would allow you to do is put that bead line right down, and there'd be no transition visually.
Okay.
Because like a solid white, a solid bone, or a solid gray would leave a very clear line.
Right.
This takes and it blurs that line. So it almost makes it look as though something is built totally as one piece
Okay.
at a casual glance. And that's something that is really beneficial. And we do sell a wide range of particulated caulks.
All right. Now, doesn't the Axiom caulking do a similar thing? We don't have any Axiom with us today, but it's a translucent, and somehow when you put that on, it actually makes it seem like the particulate is in the caulk, but it's not. It's just a clear caulk.
It allows it to bleed through. It's got a little bit of pigment, which tones it to the field.
Okay.
But because of its highly translucent qualities, kind of like translucent white, because translucent white caulk lets a lot of color bleed through too. But it's not like, you know, if you were doing a pink caulk, if you had a caulk that had a light pink pigment to it, you know, but was translucent, it still let the color of the material bleed through it.
Okay.
Then that's just enough to cause it to come together. Before we get into this, and I know we're getting to the point where we want to make that transition, why don't you talk about those real quick? Those are from our friends up in Pennsylvania.
Oh, this is, let me open one of these real quick. This is a one way to install a sink, an undermount sink in solid surface or in stone. We have a kit available for stone and solid surface. And this is actually a two-part epoxy, which would be similar to your adhesives, but this is a one-to-one, and it's not brittle. So a lot of guys will tell me they use their solid surface adhesive to hold these in, these little waffle-shaped things, but the manufacturer really doesn't recommend it. Not only because he wants you to buy this instead, but your solid surface adhesive is actually a brittle product, and it could break out of this without a doubt. And all you do is you mix up a little one-to-one of this, and then you just kind of smush this down into your bead, and it actually comes up through the holes. And maybe we'll do a demo on this one day, an actual start-to-finish demo on installing the sink. We got to think about doing that. And then it hardens, and it's set in about an hour, and it is cured in 24 hours. And then what you do is it comes with sink clips and wing nuts and washers, and these are available in bulk packs. So if you want to buy 100 of these and 100 of these, you can do that. But what you actually do is you have your waffle that's actually put into the product or glued into the solid surface, and then you just swing this and lock it down and hold your sink in place. And that's pretty cool. And we brought that up because of this adhesive, which is a two-part epoxy, one-to-one.
And we have that for solid surface and
for stone as well.
Stone.
Yep.
Okay. Now we have, I know we're getting, once again, very tight on time. I promised I would be through with my sticky stuff in time to let you get into your slippery stuff.
That's right. Well, we want to talk about lubricants, and we'll just get started on that because we only have a couple of minutes before we go to break. And the first one I want to talk about is router bit lube. And we have two of them here. One by Empire, which is a drop bottle, and then we have this one by Bostitch, which is a spray. And a lot of people will call us, and they say, you know, my bearing froze up and it fell apart right away, or this is a very common occurrence. This is a sleeve over a bearing that's used in solid surface. And what it does is this plastic sleeve rides against the solid surface, and it eliminates a mark on the solid surface. What happens is they can end up like this.
And how does that happen?
Well,
do your balls freeze?
Your balls freeze up. This is usually in colder climates. No, seriously. What happens is people will say, oh, the sleeve just fell off and I wrecked my top. But that's not, in fact, what happened at all. What happened was the bearing itself, the balls froze up, all right, because of lack of lubricant, and they spun inside of here and heated up, and this just actually slips off.
So what you're saying happens here is the balls, because either debris gets in here and locks one of the balls up,
right,
which stops the other balls from moving.
That's correct.
What happens then is the bit starts to spin rapidly inside of this inner collar,
right,
which now then begins to superheat the whole bearing.
That's correct.
The whole bearing gets extremely hot, and as it does, it transfers the heat into the Delrin bearing.
Right.
And actually, you can see here, if you look at it closely, it should look like this. Here's the bearing that came out of it, but it should look like this. But it so melted this Delrin bearing that if you look at it carefully, you can see it actually began to melt and malform.
Right.
That's how much heat was in there.
Right. And this will simply take care of that. Any type of a bearing lubricant. Even when a bit is brand new, we recommend a lubricant. And something like WD-40 is not a lubricant. It'll actually cause it to burn up quicker. It takes all the grease out of it. So we're going to go to break, and when we get back, we're obviously into our third segment, so I know we're going to have to do the light bulb thing.
And I know you're waiting for that.
And,
I'll stand on the other part of the stage.
We'll talk some more about lubricants before we get going here.
Are the commercial going?
Nope.
I'll keep talking.